let's talk about some movies. I'm Ryan Bueller, and I am here with my good pal, Tyus.
Hello.
And today we are recording our first podcast in a series where we are doing a crash course on film directors. So it'll be titled The Beginner's Guide to Filmmakers, where each month I will pick a particular director, I will watch their filmography, and then talk about them. And these podcasts will be broken up into 3 parts. First part being the crash course, the second part being a spoiler-free review of each of their films, and then part 3 being a spoiler-filled segment. So you can stay and go wherever you please. Today, I felt like for the month of July, it would fit to do it on Jordan Peele because his newest film, Nope, was just released in theaters as of recording this. So we're going to be talking about Jordan Peele. If you don't know Jordan Peele, he has starred in many episodes doing sketch comedy in a series called Key and Peele with his good friend Keegan Michael Key, thank you. And they did that for 5 seasons. He did a lot of stand-up live performances and stuff like that. But then in 2017, he moved over into the horror genre with his movie Get Out, and he has also written and directed 2 other movies, Us and Nope. And he also wrote he assisted in writing the new Candyman from 2021, and he hosts and wrote 2 of the episodes of the new Twilight Zone that is streaming on Paramount Plus currently. So we're just going to kind of give you an idea of who Jordan Peele is as a person, and what he excels at when he's making a movie, what he does right, what he does wrong, what his best films are, what his weakest films are, if there are any, and then kind of just, so you have the right expectations when going into his films. So, let's start off from his roots, rising to fame from
the 2000s TV show Mad TV.
Yes.
I think it was a very early sketch comedy show as well. It was pretty much, I think they were just, they just worked on the show. It wasn't their own show, but I think him and Keegan Michael Key also were both on it. That might have been where they met. I'm not too sure, but they both were on the show, and I think that's what led them to create their own Key and Peele show.
Gotcha. And I haven't seen too much of their sketch comedy stuff, but there's some very memorable stuff that they've done. If you've ever seen the sweating man meme, that is Jordan Peele from the skit Clear History. Yes. So that's one of the more memorable from that moment, and it's absolutely
very
hilarious.
popular. A very good sketch.
But I feel like the most popular would be the substitute teacher with Keegan Michael Key.
Yes.
Where we get Jake Quellen from
Aaron,
which is a true classic and absolutely hilarious. And they do an amazing job together. You've seen all 5 seasons of their series.
I've seen all 5 seasons of Key and Peele.
It must be worth it to watch.
It's a very funny show, and they do a little stand up before each episode.
Okay.
So it's a very funny intro. It's funny throughout because you get the sketches, you get a little bit of them bantering on stage. Very, very funny.
So it's cool. It's really crazy to see how Jordan Peele is on screen during those comedy sessions, and then watching him now being a horror film director.
A full-blown director.
It's
crazy.
like a 180, so it's really impressive to see somebody have such range.
Yeah, he did produce for a very long time. Not just on his show, but other movies he assisted in production with, The Candyman. Him and Keegan Michael Key created Keanu.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very comedy-esque, but he produced it. I don't think he directed it, but he produced that one as well. Very funny movie, but definitely a different direction when he jumped to Get Out.
Yeah. So it's impressive. He's not new to Hollywood, but he's making a new name for himself. So some things to know when going into a film that is written or directed by Jordan Peele. He takes his comedy roots and his love for horror and combines the two, and he does a really good job of balancing the tone of having a really eerie, creepy scene and then having somebody say a truly hilarious joke, and it works. Now, I think this works because I feel like most people, and I feel like I had the same expectations, Get Out, Us, those movie posters, they look like really scary movies. But they're not as scary as they could be.
Right.
I feel like he really is just making a movie, and he was asked what genre Us would be considered, and he said, it's all of the genres. That's what I said. It's all of the genres. It doesn't fall into one specific category. Mm-hmm. It kind of moves wherever he wants it to go. So I feel like it helps for a broader audience to enjoy. He makes a true movie experience for anybody who wants to watch it. It satisfies people who want a comedy. It satisfies people who want some scares. So, yeah. That's a good thing to know going into those movies with the proper expectations. He's also seems to be a really cool guy. He's really humble.
Seems very chill.
Really chill. When he's being interviewed, he's not bragging about how successful Get Out was, even though it was runner-up for Best Picture at the Oscars, and he took home an Oscar for Best Screenplay. So, I mean, he has plenty of bragging rights, but he's not going around doing that. He's really humble, and he's really just seems like he's doing what he wants to do. And he's said over and over again, he wants to make the best movie he's never seen. And it definitely comes off like he was asked if he was worried about living up to the hype of Get Out when he did Us. And he was like, yeah, it's in the back of my mind, but I was doing something that I wanted to do. I wrote the movie I wanted to make. And he said, it's cool.
That's definitely one way to take it. Like,
and
you can definitely tell that in his movies. It's him just being him throughout. It's all his thoughts just coming out on the screenplay without any predecessors affecting the current one.
Yes, and that's how it should be.
Yes.
It works when he is the guy who writes the movie and directs the movie.
Yep.
He should just have full creative control at all times. When it comes to the Candyman film that came out in 2021, he helped write the screenplay for it. And you can definitely feel the Jordan Peele-ness of the story, because I do like a lot about that movie, but I feel like it could have been so much better if he had the complete control over it.
I believe that very much so. It would have definitely been a different kind of Candyman movie.
Yeah. So it works how it is now, but it just could have been better.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing that he does really well with his films is how he does visual storytelling. He takes themes and then brings it to images, and he has a lot of symbolism and motifs and stuff like that popping up in the backgrounds of his movies, the way characters are interacting, what color palette they're wearing, just pretty much, especially in Get Out and Us, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background. And he's really keen on making a movie that you can watch over and over and over again and enjoy the movie and gain something each watch. And I definitely noticed that rewatching Get Out and Us for this podcast. There's a lot to unpack when watching his films. So I think that's a good thing to know, to really pay attention to everything that's happening.
Every time. I've seen Get Out at least so many times. I feel like even to this day, not even timely, as from when that movie first came out to now, there's still stuff to learn.
Yeah. So, and because we just got done watching Nope literally today, we know there's a lot that we missed.
I feel like 100%.
There's definitely some stuff going on.
So much that's going on at all times.
Because we didn't watch any breakdown videos, so this is just like our initial thoughts on the movie. So we're gonna have to watch that again, and it'll probably be even better the second time. We'll see though. We'll see. Did I talk about the Twilight Zone?
Oh yeah, he did.
where he stars.
He stars in directed 2 episodes.
Yeah, he directed 2, or he wrote 2
He
episodes.
wrote 2 episodes.
He wrote 2
yes.
episodes.
Oh.
I've only seen those 2 episodes.
Yes.
They're Downtime and Nightmare at 30,000 Feet. Both are really good. Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, I think it's really creative, and I loved every minute of it, and I'm going to have to go back and rewatch the rest of the series.
Yeah, that's something I've definitely missed. I definitely forgot he did Twilight Zone, so I would have to actually watch that.
I have one last quote from him. Or I write something new, and if it fails, at least I did what I wanted to do. Which I think is
It's a very true and fair statement.
yes. And one important thing that he said that he would rather start a conversation than make the best film. He wants to have people talking after his movies, and you can definitely feel that in Get Out.
Yeah, it's a respectable thing to want rather than to be at the top, because the conversation lasts longer.
You know you're going to get into a good movie with Jordan Peele. He has yet to make a bad movie, in my opinion.
They're not bad movies by any means. They are very different movies.
Yes,
100%.
they are very... Oh, yes, that's another thing. He plays with audience expectations.
Yes.
People go into his movies with expecting things that were prevalent in the past 2 movies, and that might not be the case. Like after Get Out, a lot of people expected like most of his movies being about racism and stuff like that, and it's still there, present, but it's not in the foreground. I feel like he does that with Us, where it's still there, but it's more of a horror movie. And then Nope, you can kind of get the vibe that it's still prevalent,
right?
But it's not like the main point of the movie.
I think I was in a minority where from Get Out as a starting point, I was expecting more horror. Yeah. Where Us led to that point, and I was like, okay, well, I can see the direction, what his directing style is. Yeah. But then seeing Nope was kind of like a left turn. I was not expecting.
Switches things up.
Yeah, for sure. Not in a bad way at all, but like it was definitely different.
Because I feel like it's like a combination of both, where we got those like creepy moments in Nope. Yeah. But then we also got the more like medium tone stuff, especially towards the ending. Of the film. So he's kind of just playing around with things, and I like switching things up and not. It's enjoyable the same thing. Yeah.
It keeps the audience interested for sure by not leaving the path just one way. It's so many different ways you can take.
You always need that. So question is, would you say that Get Out is the right spot to start with Jordan Peele?
Get Out is, yes, that is the right spot to start. That is a good first entrance to this director specifically, because it's the perfect blend between his niche of his 3 movies currently.
Yes, I agree. I think Get Out's the best. Mm-hmm. I think it's the funniest out of the 3. Yes. And I think it's really, the eeriness of it is really...
It hits every mark. There's no downside to Get Out, like, at all.
Yeah, so it's a good spot to start. Yeah. And I hope one day that he'll get to the point where maybe he'll top it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that ends part 1 of the podcast. That is the crash course. Hopefully you go out and watch all of Jordan Peele's movies, because they're all pretty great.
Very good movies.
So, yes, there we go. Oh yeah, just in case if you don't stay through the entire podcast, for the month of August, I will be doing the film director Robert Eggers. He directed The Witch, The Lighthouse, and most recently, The Northman. So if you wanted to watch those movies in preparation and then hear my thoughts once the podcast comes out, or if you want to wait out and watch the crash course so you can have an idea of who he is and what kind of movies he makes, that'll be coming out in the month of August. So stay tuned. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you on the next one.